much for joining us. I'm really thrilled to have one of my really good friends and community partner, Nicole Anderson from the Windsor Economic Development Corporation. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you, Nour. Thanks for having me. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Nicole Anderson is the program director for the Women Entrepreneurship strategy that was recently launched, and it's called Rise. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to have Nicole on Facebook Live today to talk about some of the initiatives that are available for women in entrepreneurship in our local community, how Rise and Windsor Economic Development Corporation is responding to COVID-19, and just really have an informal chat with Nicole because she's really involved in the entrepreneurship community. Her husband also runs his own business, so she's quite familiar with some of the supports that are out there. So I thought it would be a great addition to our Monday discussion on Facebook Live. So we're really glad to have you, Nicole.
Thanks, Nour. And just in time, I knew this would happen. My 2-year-old just joined the conference, and here comes my husband. Rushing to grab him. Sorry.
Hi.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, Nour.
That's okay, and that's the reality. And that was one of the things I really wanted you to touch on because we're all in the same boat, right? Like I have my Adam, our boys are not too far apart from each other in age, but you have 2 at home. So kudos to you for being able to withstand some of the insanity that happens working from home with kids. But let's first start off in talking about Rise, for those that aren't familiar with the program, and how people can get involved at this time.
Sure. So Rise was an organization that was developed through the Women Entrepreneurship Strategy Grant. When we received the grant, it was quite a large grant, almost $700,000 from the federal government over 4 years to help support organizations that were offering resources to local entrepreneurs. And so when we had written the when the Women Entrepreneurship Strategy Grant was written, it was written by a few members of the Windsor-Essex Economic Development Corporation. They had identified 6 partners that would help lead the grant. So when we received it and I was selected to run the grant, I was doing some research and found that there were more than 6 partners in the area that were offering support for female entrepreneurs. And that was really the basis of this grant, was to increase the number of female entrepreneurs and female working in STEM in Windsor-Essex. And so I started reaching out to these other organizations and they wanted to become involved. So we developed Rise. And Rise has our 6 founding partners. Build a Dream is one of them. And so Rise is really just an amalgamation of information available for female entrepreneurs and female working in STEM in Windsor-Essex County. Now, thank you, Vicky. Vicky put up our website. Please head to it. Stay up to date with what we're working on. I think you scroll to the bottom, you can sign up for our newsletter, and really that will allow you to become a member of the organization. So Rise is really, again, just bringing together all of the information and the resources available to female entrepreneurs and female working in STEM in Windsor-Essex County.
The approach that I love that you took, and Build a Dream is such a so happy to be involved, is that it's a collaborative effort, and you focused on not reinventing the wheel, but bringing stakeholders together from education, from community, from industry, female role models together to talk about what is currently happening in the Windsor-Essex region to support female entrepreneurship, but then to also look at some of the gaps that are here in our local area that we need to fill in order to support more females to consider the entrepreneurial pathway. Now, recognizing that right now, small businesses and entrepreneurs are really struggling during COVID-19. Prior to COVID-19, what were some of the challenges you identified and you noticed that were limiting women from even considering entrepreneurship?
It's a great segue because we actually hired through the grant, Workforce Windsor-Essex. We're working with them. They're one of our founding partners. And they actually ran this a survey, and they did interviews with female entrepreneurs and females working in STEM. They put together this comprehensive report. It's phenomenal. I got to read through it last week, and it will be published soon. But essentially, it's, just facing stereotypes in the workplace, adversity in the workplace, how to deal with it. Some females were, it might be that they were, if they don't see the representation in a job, they don't they wouldn't see themselves in that job. Lack of role models, lack of mentors was one as well. But that entire report will be out very soon. And once it's out, we'll push it through. We'll send it to Build a Dream as well. And hopefully, you know, it'll be quite insightful as to why women are not are underrepresented rather in entrepreneurship and in STEM. And I'm sure, you know, Nour, you're one to speak to it. You've got all the knowledge as well. So I think it'll really solidify what we already knew, and it will allow us to develop programming and more resources to help address these specific pieces.
And that's great that you highlighted the efforts of Workforce Windsor Essex and the research that they were doing, because I know that one of the goals for the committee and for the RISE program was to really understand what some of those needs and challenges are currently in the Windsor Essex area. And for those that are not familiar with Workforce Windsor Essex, but they do some phenomenal labor market information research for our local community, but they've also developed some really great workforce tools for both the job seekers and the employers, along with education, to better equip the whole community with better understanding where some of those gaps are, some of the opportunities are, and how to best direct your job search efforts. So I highly recommend that you visit Workforce Windsor Essex's services, because they're such a great tool, especially during this time. They've been very timely in responding to COVID-19 and ensuring that the community has the information they need to meet some of the challenges that we're all currently facing. But yes, you are correct in identifying some of the challenges female entrepreneurs do face in not only starting their own companies, but going into STEM-related occupations. And our organization does really focus on the underrepresented industries, including entrepreneurship and STEM. And I've been interviewing women from the industry across different industries, and the reoccurring theme is the importance of seeing women pursue in that role and really seeing themselves in those positions, but also the role that mentors and advisors play in helping women succeed across all different fields. And I think that one of the things that, just in even leading Build a Dream and scaling the organization across Canada, some of the advice that I often have for women that are looking to start their own company or going into a field that's very male dominated is look for those key advisors, look for the leaders that are in fields or have the skill set that you're looking to develop or build on to help you build out your business plan or your business strategy, and reach out to them, because what I'm finding is there are so many people there that are open to helping you succeed through your pathway. It's just a matter of getting comfortable with asking for the help and knowing who to ask for help and when to ask for help, and the value of the follow-up. And I saw that firsthand with the work that you were doing with RISE. Like, we talked about the founding partners, which I'd love for you to highlight all of them. And then once you highlight the founding partners, talk about the other partners that joined in, simply by you telling them what RISE's goal what RISE's goal is in supporting women entrepreneurs, and how many of them have actually joined forces to support RISE and the work that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So our founding partners are Build a Dream, small business center at Windsor Essex Economic Development Corporation, working very, very closely with them. Epicenter at the University of Windsor, We Tech Alliance, Workforce Windsor Essex, and We Can, which is our angel network here in Windsor. Those are the official founding partners of the Women Entrepreneurship Strategy Grant that were listed in the grant. So they are receiving funding from the grant to run their programming in order to help support these underrepresented groups in Windsor Essex. But other organizations that are very eager to join and are very excited to join are St. Clair College, the Genesis Entrepreneurship Center there, as well as St. Clair College as a whole. We've got all 3 school boards in the area. They're very excited to join as well. I've got a call in with them next month to hopefully solidify, what that will look like, that relationship. Been in talks with for-profit organizations. City of Windsor's a great example. They've got a Women in STEM working group. So we do have quite a bit of organizations, and once they're solidified, that means that they can access our website and be able to put their information on the site. Again, this website will amalgamate all of the information and resources available to women in our area. So all of their information will be posted there. But in an effort to do that, I want to make sure that these organizations themselves are accountable for for providing these resources. So what we are ensuring is that these organizations are run through gender-based diversity and inclusion training. And luckily, we do have a wonderful partnership with the Workforce Innovators Network through Build a Dream. And Nour, if you want to talk a little bit about that, that would be great.
Sure, yeah. One of the things that Build a Dream launched back in October of 2019 was our Workforce Innovators Network. And that was funded through Workforce �𝒂𝒂. And the goal was to not only talk about the underrepresentation of women in these fields, but some of the barriers facing companies and organizations in promoting diversity and inclusion within their own industries. And what we found that it's not just about recruiting or attracting women into the industry, but retaining women in the industry and helping them advance was very, very crucial to really increasing the numbers and supporting women once they enter those different companies. So we launched a Workforce Innovators Network to highlight the diversity and inclusion champions. But what we found was there's a lot of best practices that we could share as an organization with companies and organizations so that they can learn different approaches that they could take to help support their diversity and inclusion efforts. So simple things that we would highlight during our presentation and part of the WIN Network is how do you start marketing and recruiting more female representation or diverse representation? So for example, the approach that we normally talk to companies and taking is if you're used to going to your frontline staff and asking them if they have any recommendations or if they can share with their network this job posting, and your whole front line is all men, then the likelihood of getting a female applicant or female interest is going to be quite challenging. So we asked them to then partner with organizations like Women's Enterprise Skills Training of Windsor, St. Clair College, the University of Windsor, and really identify that they are looking for diverse applicants. While this is an extra step in their marketing efforts, it really helps position them in the community as not only an employer that's looking to diversify, but an employer that's actually taking the actions necessary to diversify. Other examples are retention. We found that getting women into the industry is one solution, but keeping them in the industry is another challenge that a lot of companies were facing. So really doing an in-house analysis on your diversity and inclusion practices and ensuring that your workforce environment is conducive to supporting women within the workforce. And what we found was a lot of women who do enter the field end up leaving the field, not because they're not interested in the field, but because the environment itself did not encourage or nurture their involvement or their advancement within the industry. So through the partnership with WIN in RISE, we're going to be offering that to all of the partners that are looking to become members of RISE so that they can not only learn the best practices, but also be branded as a company and an organization that's invested in diversity and inclusion, which is really, really key to helping diversify your workforce and becoming an employer that becomes top of choice for future applicants. So we talked about some of the founding partners, some of the new partners. For female entrepreneurs right now, or females that have never really considered the entrepreneurial pathway, what would be some of the initiatives that some of those founding partners are launching to help encourage more females into this path?
So we have different resources in our area for entrepreneurs. The biggest one I would say right now for those who are just kind of thinking about entrepreneurship, don't really know what to do with an idea, is the Epicenter Discovery Program. And I believe they're running that virtually right now. So if you go on their website, it'll show information on there. I saw it on their social media pages. So if you're struggling to find it on the website, it will be on social media. And the Discovery Program is actually something that I had developed years ago when I was working with Epicenter. I was a co-founder there with 3 other women, amazing women. And so the Discovery Program really helps walk you through your idea. So is it feasible? Who would buy into it? How are you going to make money? Who is your target market? What's your value proposition? So they run through that with you so that at the end of your discovery program, you walk through this not only with the team at Epicenter, but with actual mentors. So a few entrepreneurs in residence who have had successful businesses who have sold them. They're on retainer to help with this program. So you're walking through it with a seasoned entrepreneur. They'll give you some advice as to, if you should pursue the idea. They'll essentially do or work with you to do like a feasibility study to ensure that it would be, somewhat successful. And they use the lean startup methodology that's actually used out in Silicon Valley. So they are, they're very ahead of the curve in terms of some studies that you could do to help ensure that your business is successful. The Small Business Center here in, where I work at Windsor-Essex Economic Development Corporation is amazing as well. They've got phenomenal business advisors that can help you walk through your business idea. If it's a little bit further along, they could give you information in terms of resources in the area, like funding. They have different programming themselves to help you run your business. If you want, I can kind of walk through local resources, Nour, and what's available for entrepreneurs. So Small Business Center, again, they have the business advisory services. In the summer, they run the summer company program, which is funding, which is, I believe it's $3,000 through the summer, and you can work on your business through the summer. The only way to be eligible, though, is that you have to be a returning student back to school. So whether that's post-secondary, whether that's secondary school, whatever it might be, but you have to run your business through the summer and then be going back to school in the fall. They also have a starter company program. Now, I know the applications have closed for 2020, but keep a lookout for that in 2021. And that's a $5,000 grant to work through your business plan. They are running amazing webinars right now. If you subscribe to their newsletter, you'll get information on, what's coming down the pipeline. Right now, they're mostly focused on, how to react to COVID-19 in various forms. So they've got one coming up tomorrow. I'm actually signed up for it. I'm really excited about it. It's how to kind of weather the social media storm right now with through COVID-19. So what to do, what not to do in terms of your social media marketing at this time, because you want to be obviously empathetic to the cause, but also, you still have a business to run. So how can you do that correctly, I guess? So they've got awesome webinars going through. The Epicenter has their discovery program. They've opened up their applications for the founders program. That runs through the summer. That's a $6,000 grant for a 12-week kind of intensive accelerator program. So if you've got an idea and you want to work through the first iteration of your product or your service, this is the program for you. It's a great program. Generally, you're with amazing entrepreneurs going through this together. So you kind of have, you have your own dedicated mentors, of course, but then you've got your peer-to-peer mentors, which are great as well. They're launching this program called the Epic Nimble program. That'll hopefully be launched next week or maybe the week after. Well, applications will be open rather for it. And this program is to allow companies that don't generally have technology within their company to adopt tech, specifically emerging technology, to kind of bring their business to the next level. So I think that program is going to be great. I'm hoping Rise can get in there and do something with that program. So I'm excited, hopefully, to announce something soon about that. For Rise itself, like I'd mentioned, I'm hoping to do some spotlights on female entrepreneurs, what they're doing during COVID-19. But also, I would like to offer my own services. So if you have questions, you want to chat about how to pivot your business during this time, please reach out to me. Happy to discuss. I talk to 2 to 3 female entrepreneurs a day. Just, it can get quite lonely, sitting at home, trying to figure out how you're going to pivot your business, if you're going to pivot your business, if you'd rather go on government support, whatever it might be. So I'm definitely here to help walk you through that.
And Nicole, before you continue, just because I've reached out to you for some help as well. Mm-hmm. What are some of the pieces of advice, more broad pieces of advice that you've been providing entrepreneurs during this time? And I know that your husband's currently facing that too, because he was about to open up his own wellness center as well. So what are the top 3 pieces of advice that you would provide to entrepreneurs right now that are struggling to pivot during this time?
Okay, so really at this point, you have to figure out what is right for your business. Can your business operate digitally? Because right now, essentially, we have to bring in digital platforms to help run the business. Whether you are a a restaurant that's generally service-based, face-to-face, or can you adopt something where you are, an online ordering platform and then do delivery? So I guess my number one suggestion would be you have to look at your business individually. You can't just do what another business is doing. It might not work for you. So what you don't want to also, make yourself worse along, if that makes sense. You want to ensure that after this is done, you can still sustain yourself. So whether that is going on government assistance or pivoting your business, it all depends on what your business looks like. So go out, and if you can talk to business advisors, like I said, I'm available. Small Business Center is available. 𝒉Tech Alliance is available. Epicenter as well. So talk to people, see how you can pivot your business. That's the number one, if you can pivot your business. Number two is use services that are available to you that otherwise wouldn't be. So right now, a lot of tech companies are providing free services. So I amalgamated a list. Luckily, Yvonne Pilon had just done this, so I'm just really using her list from 𝒉Tech Alliance. But there's a lot of tech supports out there. So you've got Facebook, for instance, they're providing a small business grant for your business. So go on their site. I don't believe it's open yet, but check to see once it's open, what does that mean for you? Shopify is offering a free 90-day trial, which is amazing. It's the next 3 months. Google is doing free upgrades for their G Suite. Hootsuite themselves are offering free professional tools for you. Vidyard and Zoom, they're offering free video messaging. So if you need to have face-to-face chats with anyone, definitely video would be best. Udemy is doing free online courses. So if if let's say you have halted your business operations, you've decided the government assistance is the best way to go for you. If you're feeling up to it, if you're mentally prepared for it, I would, upgrade some skills if you can. Maybe do a project management course, maybe do a coding course, whatever it might be. Udemy is offering free online courses, which is great. And then the Windsor Public Library, of course, they've got free subscriptions to all of their online services. So I would suggest doing that as well. I mean, sitting at home is difficult, and if you decide to halt your business operations, that can be definitely a difficult decision. But if you have the time and if you have the willpower to do it, check out some of these tech sites.
Those are some great suggestions. We've also tapped into some of the free tech applications that companies are offering. For example, we just finished chatting with Cisco with the WebEx platform, and they're providing that free for 3 months to businesses. So there are a lot of companies and corporations that are offering some resources to offset that financial burden that businesses are facing, and to make it a little bit more easier and adaptable to shifting more into the virtual world, and utilizing those resources that are available. That's one thing that our organization has taken really seriously, because we went from having the 6 events to now hosting and organizing a virtual conference. So taking all of our services and learning how to work remotely as a team has been a huge learning curve, but tapping into these free resources is so key. So I would love to, after this call, to post that link to the resources. Like, is there a link that we could share so that people can have access to it? Would that be okay?
Yeah, I'll send you that information. It's hosted on somebody else's website, but I'm sure that more traffic.
Is it hosted on 𝒉Tech's website?
𝒉Tech, I think they did amalgamate it, so I can check on their site. I'm pulling it from a different one, but either way, I'm sure.
Okay, perfect, awesome. Okay, so we can, because you've mentioned some really great support options for people that are tuning in. One is this list of tech applications that are free to use that will help people pivot virtually into the virtual world. Secondly is the ability to access your experience and talent and knowledge about being an entrepreneur. I know we didn't give you a proper intro when I first introduced you on Facebook Live, but how many years have you been working with entrepreneurs? And how many, I know that your family has their own family-run business, your husband runs his own company. So how many years have you been in this world?
How old am I? No, our family business started about 30 years ago. So I grew up, in a family business, working my way through. They're a greenhouse automation engineering firm, and they also have manufacturing within the company as well. So I actually grew up in manufacturing, and I was working in the shop with the rest of I was the only female, obviously. So working through there, and then worked my way into the office, and then worked my way into HR and marketing manager. And I still do some work for them, obviously. Have never stopped there. And then I joined the University of Windsor in 2011 and worked with their Center for Enterprise and Law, where we helped entrepreneurs in the area. So in 2011, we started that, and then it kind of, things shifted a little bit, and then we started the Epicenter, the Entrepreneurship Center at the university. Again, there were 4 founding female partners on that, and then my husband also, he's a chiropractor, and we're in the process of opening an entire wellness center. So working through that with him, and now with the Women Entrepreneurship Strategy Grant. So really working specifically on entrepreneurial programming since 2011, but growing up in an entrepreneurial family. So I do have the knowledge of, what supports are available, shifting businesses, how to pivot your business. And if I don't have the information, I definitely know somebody who does. So it can, if you're struggling, I'm here to help however I can.
So we'd love to add your contact information on that list of all the different resources, so that those that are tuning in can tap into that. And then let's talk about some of the government incentives that are being offered to businesses that are struggling during this time. I know it was just launched today, the actual application. Mm-hmm. And what my understanding is they're encouraging people to go on the date based on their birthdays, so the system itself doesn't crash. Yeah. But can you walk us through some of those at a high level, and then we'll also post the link to those?
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, like Nour said, I will definitely go through high level as much as possible. There are more details on the websites, and also highly encourage you to speak to your accountant or to your lawyer for more in-depth information. So the first is the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, which is the hot topic. That's what was launched today. It's $2,000. So it's really, a month. So it's really $500 a week up to 16 weeks. It launched today. So regardless of what you've made, or what you're making rather right now, it's a standard $500 a week. And I've been on Facebook, and people are, there are topics about why is it a standard 500? And really the assumption is the government's too busy to go through everybody's financial statements from the previous year to determine how much they should be getting. So right now it's just a blanketed $500 a week. It's taxable, so be careful. You want to put away some of that money for next year's tax season. Applicable if you live in Canada, if you're older than 15. You have to have stopped working due to COVID-19 for at least 14 days, March 15th, essentially. You're not currently receiving EI. You haven't quit your job voluntarily. So again, if you're working for a business that is deemed to stay open through COVID-19, an essential service, and you choose to leave, you have to be careful that you're not quitting your job. So if your company is ensuring that they're following health and safety protocols, and you just decide you don't want to work, you just want to go on this benefit, you likely won't qualify for it. And if you go through the process and it allows you to apply for it, you might get dinged a little bit later on when the government does its audits. So I would just really be careful that you're not quitting a job that's deemed essential just because you want to go on the CERB. Okay. I know there were some questions about that as well. You can't have any employment income. So to go on this, I'm calling it the CERB. You can't, so if you are, you're trying to find a side hustle while your business is closed, if you have a side hustle and you're making money, you can't qualify for this. And again, you will get dinged a little bit later on if they find out that you've made money during this time and you were receiving the benefit. What else? You have to have earned at least $5,000 in the last 12 months. It doesn't even have to be in Canada. You just had to have made that money. Okay, so the CERB is open today. More information is on the site. If you have specific questions, I'm sure they'll list it out. You can apply right through your 𝒅𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒈 My account. So hopefully, this will apply to you if you are out of a job right now. Other things that the government's done is allowed for mortgage deferrals, so up to 6 months, but don't forget you do have to pay interest on that. So make sure that that option is right for you. Check with your banks, check with if you've got a personal banker, an accountant, make sure that's right for you. There's the 75% wage subsidy. So that applies if you are still paying your employees as of March 15th. So you could apply to that. It only goes up to 75% of your wage. So, and there's a cap, and I want to say it's about $58,000 a year is where it's capped at. So look into that as well. There's a $40,000 interest-free loan for 1 year that you could apply to, and that's through your bank. So go through your bank if if this does interest you for your organization. For rent right now, there's nothing posted. The government hasn't really addressed that right now, but they are encouraging you to just talk to your landlords if you're struggling to make rent on time. Even if you've got loans from the bank that you're concerned about your interest rate, just talk to them. A big portion is, people think that they may be, in this predicament and nobody else is. As a matter of fact, everybody's in this situation. So people will be empathetic. So I would really, if you've got a payment due and you're really concerned about how you're going to pay it, just contact the person, plead your case. Hopefully that they will show some kind of empathy towards you. So those are some government incentives that are available. Things change on the daily, so just keep up to date with what's happening through the finance minister's office, and hopefully you could take advantage of some of these programs.
So, and thank you for sharing that. And one of the things that our team discussed internally was recognizing that right now there is a lot of families and individuals that are struggling financially or in different ways with all the negative news that's out there and just the pandemic that we're all experiencing together. So Build a Dream actually launched a survey to better understand what the needs of our communities are. And we're also offering our knowledge, expertise, and experience to those that require that additional support, of course, free of charge. Something else we're offering is, we have our own Dream Shop store that's hosted on Shopify, and it makes me really happy to hear that Shopify is offering that free. But for those entrepreneurs that had to shut down their store because of COVID-19, but still have some items to sell, don't really want to take their items online, but want to still sell their product, we're offering our Dream Shop store. We'll post your product on our store. We'll help you market your item, and we'll also help you in creating marketing strategies to share your items online so that people can go out and purchase them online. So that's just one of the ways that Build a Dream is offering their services as well for free. So if you know any entrepreneurs, Nicole. And then something else that we also want to do in sharing Rise's initiatives as well is to support local and feature local businesses in our community, because truly we're all in this together. So before we went live, we were talking about some of how we're supporting local and some of the local entrepreneurs we've ordered food or drinks from. Do you want to give a shout out to a few of your favorites?
Sure. So we're a big pizza family. So we've done Antonino's, AMLO's, and Arcada. They're all I live in the 𝒂𝒐𝒆𝒔𝒄 area, so they're all here. I had a nice delivery the other day from 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒔𝒄 gelato. It was a lovely gift that I received from a friend. So that was delivered to my door. We have ordered a case of beer from Walkerville Brewery. I just ordered some wine from Peely Island Winery. Very excited for my Lola to come in. The Iron Kettle, we ordered last week. We had ordered bread, and the bread has lasted us now 2 weeks. And I believe they're doing it once a week, but this week they sold out in 2 hours. So a lot of great things happening. There's a spreadsheet going around right now that lists all of the takeout and the delivery services available, not only for food, but for goods and services too. I know, for instance, the wellness market here in the Tecumseh area. They're offering free delivery in Windsor, Essex. I think it's great to see all of these organizations coming together in our community to help support what we need. And it's amazing for us to be able to give back to those communities. So 𝒂𝒏𝒈 came out with, they've got Takeout Tuesday. So they're encouraging people to order takeout every Tuesday. They have, what's the Wednesday? Wine Wednesday. How did I forget that? Wine Wednesday, of course, which is when I ordered my wine last Monday. So I'm so excited for it to come in. And they've got a new one coming. I don't think they've launched it yet, but something happening on Fridays that will be coming down the pipeline as well. So really coming together as a community is incredible.
And I can't believe you forgot this, your specialty donuts.
Oh, my donuts, Shelby Sweet Shop. So you're right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because they weren't even in my house for an hour and we ate them all. That's why I forgot about them. But Shelby Sweet Shop in the area, she was doing dozen gourmet donuts. So we picked those up last week, on Saturday. And again, they didn't last very long in our house. So that was wonderful as well.
I'm gonna order from Shelby Sweets and tell her you recommended me. But some of our viewers also want to give a shout out to the Cheese Bar, the Magical Mushroom Hub, Craft Heads Brewing Company with the Grand Cantina, Teacups and Crowns, and Oven 360. And I'm going to give a few shout outs to Wineology. We ordered pizza and wine on Friday, which was absolutely delicious. So thank you, JC, for the amazing pizza. We've also placed our grocery order from our local market, Fred's Market. So there are a lot of local companies that we can continue to support during this difficult time. And I think it'd be really great for us to share those recommendations via online, our social media channels, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all the different platforms that are available, because that's how we're going to be able to support companies during this difficult time and not forget our local companies that are here to support our community. So thank you for sharing those with us, Nicole.
Yep.
I've learned a lot from you as a friend when I became a new mom. You've been so instrumental in being such a great mentor and friend to me and giving me some tips on how to juggle both my work life and my personal life and my family life. And I know through COVID-19, you have some great advice for those that are having the good days and the bad days. And what are some of the mental health tips that you want to provide to some people tuning in? Because it is tough. It's I have great days and I have some really rough days. And having these routines or different best practices that we could tap into could really help during this difficult time. So I'd love to hear some of your mental health tips.
Yeah, definitely. And likewise too, it's so great to have peers who are also mentors, right? and I'm hoping to launch something like that through Rise, but more information to come. Okay, awesome. So the first thing, just huge disclaimer, if you are struggling with mental health, please call the Community Crisis Center for Windsor. Okay. So what I do, I mean, it might not work for everyone. It's, you know what, some days it doesn't even work for myself, but these are, I guess, some tips that I've kind of collected on the way. I was away. So I was actually in self-quarantine before the actual lockdown came into effect. So it's been a while for me. So these are some things that I found work well. Try to stay healthy. I know that it's like the chicken or the egg. Some days I just want to watch TV all day. My husband's like, get up, you should go for a run, like get your brain moving. And I said, well, I'm not really in the mood. And he said, well, that's a thing. In order to be more, I guess, mentally like ready to do something like that, you need to be working out. But in order to work out, you need to have the motivation. So it's like chicken or the egg. So if you're not feeling it, just take my advice, just do it. You'll always feel better after you do it. So there are lots of gyms and studios that are offering free live sessions. Join if you can. I try to do one at noon. There's always like a lunch yoga provided by a few studios in the area. So anyway, just check out see what's free, what's trending on Facebook, on Twitter.
That's a great tip, because I know that Refine Fitness is doing their Facebook Live workouts, and Moksha Yoga is doing free sessions of yoga online. So there's a lot of local companies that are providing their services for free at this time, and it's a great opportunity for us to give them a try, give them a follow. But once things go back, because I know I miss my fitness routine, to tap into their businesses and to support them back, because it says a lot about those companies that are stepping up and supporting the active and healthy lifestyles and encouraging that during this time.
Exactly. And, when I start feeling anxious about various things in my life, I think about, okay, what can you control and what can you not control? Right now, we can't control what's happening, but we can control, when I think about it, I can control how I will be if, God forbid, I end up with COVID-19. And I want to be at my fittest, at my strongest. And so right now, just trying to stay healthy, going out for runs, trying to ensure my lungs stay healthy, etc. So that's my first piece of advice. If you practice mindfulness, that helps as well. I mean, it's not for everybody, but that kind of brings you back to earth. FaceTiming with friends. I know Nour and I have already FaceTimed. I FaceTime all the time. You could use apps like House Party. Staying connected always makes me feel better. Especially like during down days. And this goes to say as well, like I said, I speak to maybe 2 or 3 female entrepreneurs a day. Everybody's in the same boat in terms of having great days and having bad days. So it's really up and down. I read an article recently about, what we're feeling is grief. We're grieving our previous, our life before COVID-19. So you really have to kind of go through the ebbs and flows and take every day as it is. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to have bad days. Just to remember that as well. So working from home, some of my best practices is having a designated workspace. So I'm lucky. We have a room in the house that we've designated an office. I actually usually put up a baby gate at my door, but it was off for some reason. That's why my son was able to prison break his way in.
Prison break, I love it.
He's a crazy little man. So designated workstation, very important. Schedule your day. So the night before, my husband and I go through our days, because even though he's off work, he's trying to upskill right now. Like I said, he's a chiropractor. He's going to be offering virtual chiropractic sessions. So he's trying to learn, because he's never uses computers in his day-to-day. So he's trying to learn how to do that. So we schedule our day. I give him a block, of work time. And I was talking to Nour. I have children at home and I'm working from home. So it's important to have time by yourself. That's not work. So my husband and I allow one another each day 1 to 2 hours of just your alone time. So yesterday I took my time to wash my makeup brushes. And today I'm going to take my time to clean out my closet. So that alone time I think is important as well. Take breaks. Take them frequently if you can. Stay hydrated. I know that sounds funny, but it really does help. Wake up, have a shower. I know that sounds funny, and people joke about being in their pajamas all day. That's okay. Be in your pajamas, but take them off for 30 seconds while you have a shower and put them right back on. This helps with the flow. I mean, I'm in sweatpants right now. You can't see that. Go outside. The weather's starting to get better. Go outside. I mean, keep your social distance. Go in your yard. We use our front yard a lot. Go for walks if you can. Again, keep that social distance obviously in mind. If you have little ones at home, school boards have their online tools. I mean, your little ones might be in school, so they have online courses. But if they're not, my oldest is 4. She's not in school yet. She'll start September. But they have really good resources on the school board websites that I use. And I actually set up a little desk of hers, a little plastic desk in my office. So some days she comes to work with me. She's got her own tasks to do, whether it's making a craft for my office or something like that. But bringing her to work with me kind of makes things a little bit easier for her to understand that I've got a work day. Audible is offering free audiobooks through Amazon. So I downloaded 17 episodes of Frozen. So she listens to that rather than on the screen. But you know what? Some days she is on the screen more than others. It's fine. We're all in survival mode, so whatever works for you. But these are things that, have helped me anyway.
I love those tips. And I know some came into from some people that are tuning in. Breathe Pilates has a live fitness studio that's free. And then Maria listens to local DJs that are live and try to have a short dance party.
That's a great idea.
That's something Adam would really enjoy, because I'm sure you see my Instagram videos. My son is a dance machine, and he asks us to turn up the music really loud every day. So it's really great to have the dance off. I just want to say hi to Sabrina Rodriguez, who just gave us a hi. So hi, thanks for tuning in. Yes, but going back to some of the tips that you provided that I found very helpful is that getting up in the morning and getting ready as if I'm going to work. Like, I do wear more comfortable pants, but I still get up, take a shower, do my hair, put makeup on. It just brings some type of normalness to my day-to-day. And I personally need it. I think it changes for people, person to person. And one of the things that I'm learning to be okay with is not being okay. And that's okay. Yeah. So if there are moments I'm not okay, just letting myself go through those emotions, and then trying to find something that will make me feel a little bit better, but also taking the time not to judge myself for the decisions I'm making during this time, because I think that we can all get into that self-talk about, oh, I should be doing this, or I should be doing that, or I should have done this. And I think all we can really focus on is the now and what we can control. And sometimes our emotions can get the best of us. And even during the work week, it becomes really challenging. We're all adapting to a new norm. But one of the things that keeps me inspired, encouraged, and motivated is when I think of the essential services, and I think of the nurses, the doctors, the pharmacists, the police officers, the firefighters, the grocery clerks, the deliveries, the construction workers, everyone that has to go into work and put themselves at risk on a day-to-day basis. I just have, when I think of them, I have so much gratitude, and I feel very thankful and blessed that we live in a community that has people risking their lives to keep us safe. And I feel that the role that I could play is by encouraging everybody to stay home, because if we're going to flatten the curve, we all play a role in that. And to really minimize the amount of risk and the decisions that our healthcare providers are going to need to make, I think we can all do a simple, when I say simple, I mean in comparison to what they're doing, is stay home and be safe, and look and be grateful for being home with our kids, our families, having time. Although it's hard, I think during this time, if we all focus on the role we play in decreasing the stressors of the pandemic and putting the burden on our healthcare system, I think that gives me a little bit of comfort knowing that I can play that role and at least stay home and then support in different ways. So that's something that we've been practicing, and definitely encourage everyone that's tuning in to stay home, but also to really thank the frontline workers that I'm sure their days look much more different than ours. And we are just so thankful to them. And also our political leaders. I couldn't imagine being in a leadership position, making decisions on behalf of a city, a province, a country during this time, and just their efforts in trying to keep us all safe and giving us timely, transparent advice. And feedback is so key during these challenging times. So just, and then one other piece of advice that I would give to the amazing advice that Nicole gave is I personally minimize the amount I go on social media to view people's posts about what's happening. Like, I want to be informed. So I listen to the announcements by our premier, our prime minister, and our local leadership. But other than that, I try to minimize, just because it's too much to take in for me. So
it is.
I try to distract myself in other ways. But those were some really, really great pieces of advice. I absolutely love the 2 hours to yourself on it daily, free of kids and free of work, because it's tough to have those boundaries now when everything is happening in one place in the home. So I love that you're able to set those boundaries. Before we head out, this has been a really great conversation, and I just love chatting with you, Nicole. And actually, I realized that we're also getting on a call with a community partner at 2 p.m. together for something else for female entrepreneurs. But is there one last piece of advice or anything else that we missed during our chat that you'd like to share with those that are tuning in about female entrepreneurship in our region?
Really, I've said this before and I'll say it again. There are resources available to you. You're not alone. Please reach out. If you think we should be doing webinars on X, Y, and Z, let me know. If you're finding a gap in the area, in the region that you need help with, please reach out. We are here to help. Really, I mean, that essentially is my job. I am here to help. So whatever you think, reach out to me. Follow us on social media, reach out to me on social media or through my, obviously through my email address. Whatever you think that we can continue to do or something new that we could do to help you, please don't hesitate to chat with me.
Amazing. What we'll do is we'll post the link to our survey of how Build a Dream can help your business. And Nicole, we're going to share those results with you as well.
Perfect.
Because I think that we could coordinate different efforts. So things that Build a Dream can't do or can do, but maybe we could share it with some of our community partners, maybe at our meeting on Wednesday, see if some of the other stakeholders want to support. That way we can provide a full stream of different ways that we can help local companies in our region make it through COVID-19. So we'll post the survey link again. And as promised, Nicole is a wealth of knowledge, and we're going to take the list of resources and programs she's provided and provided in a link that will be posted on Facebook and through our social media channels. And I can't encourage you enough to follow Rise, follow Nicole, because not only is she a person you want to know and follow as a professional and leader in our community, but Rise Windsor-Essex is doing some phenomenal work to support female entrepreneurship and female in STEM in our local region. And they've done a phenomenal job in bringing together the right stakeholders to support these initiatives. So they're a true community collaborative partner. And Build a Dream is so fortunate to be a part of the founding partners and on the committee to support the initiatives that Rise. Nicole, always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome.
Always wonderful work. I love working with Build a Dream, so this is a dream of mine.
Ditto. And I look forward to chatting with you again at 2 p.m.
Thanks, Nour.
Can't get enough of me, Nicole. One thing I share during all my Facebook lives is I haven't hesitated to ask people for help during this time. So I'm always reaching out and saying, hey, I have this idea or I need help in this. And people like you always come forward, and we're just so grateful to that for you for doing what you do. So thank you so much, Nicole. And again, all the links that we discussed today will be provided on our channel. And we'll be back tomorrow with Colin Toop from Tools of the Trade. And he currently has a phenomenal podcast, which, Nicole, I highly encourage you to tune into. But he's deemed an essential service, and he's really supporting the construction industry. So he's going to be on Facebook Live with us tomorrow to share some of those initiatives that are happening. And we have a great lineup of other professionals from the Windsor-Essex community that will be joining us throughout the week. So please tune back in, and we really appreciate all those that tuned in this afternoon and look forward to seeing you again throughout the week. Thanks, Nicole, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, Nour. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.